And our lead story of the day is Peter Doocy just really going after Karine Jean-Pierre here. The opening question has her fumbling through her words, doesn't answer the question, and he just continues to berate her. It is a sight to behold, folks. This is one you're not going to want to miss. Let's go ahead and roll the clip of Peter Doocy, the gladiator, going after White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
I know, I'm going to take them. That's why I could have walked away and not taken your question, Peter, but I would take your question.
I'll make it worth it.
I'm sure you will.
Different topic.
Okay.
How come migrants are allowed to come into this country unvaccinated, but world-class tennis players are not?
You're talking about which world-class tennis player?
Novak Djokovic.
So, as far, just since you asked me about him. So visa records are confidential under U.S. law. Therefore, the U.S. government cannot discuss the details of individual visa cases. Due to privacy reasons, the U.S. government also does not comment on medical information of individual travelers as it relates to the tennis player. Look, the questions regarding vaccination requirements is I defer you to CDC. This is a CDC requirement for foreign nationals. This is something that they decide. This is something that is up to them. The U.S. Open and their participant protocols, I'd refer you to them. They have their own specific protocols as well. So they're two different things.
She never answered the question. And no, they are not two different things. But Peter Doocy's going to follow up here.
They're two different things.
But how is it two different things? Somebody unvaccinated comes over on a plane. You say that's not okay. Somebody walks into Texas or Arizona unvaccinated. They're allowed to stay. Why?
But that's not how it works. Like we actually no.
I know that's not what you guys want to happen, but that is what is happening.
But that's not. It's not like somebody walks over and that's not how.
Exactly
What? Did I hear that correctly? Did she just say that it's just not exactly like they're walking over? Is anybody else as dumbfounded as I am on that statement that she just gave? You literally have over 200,000 people a month, literally with their feet walking across the border. Like, lady, you've literally let in millions of people at this point by them walking across the border. What are you talking about? It only gets worse.
What's happening? Thousands of people are walking in a day. Some of them turn themselves over. Some of them are caught. Tens of thousands a week are not. That is what is happening.
So let me just lay out what we have done under this administration. We have installed new border technology and set up joint protocols with Mexico and Guatemala to catch more human traffickers. We have already made over 3,000 arrests in the first 3 months of launching an unprecedented anti-smuggling campaign with regional partners.
3,000 arrests, folks, in months, not like a day. Remember, Texas sees anywhere from 6 to like 15,000 people a day. A day. She's talking about months, multiple months. They've only made 3,000 arrests. Well, Peter, let's talk about what we've done. You can't make this up. You really can't. It's that bad.
We've secured record levels of funding for the Department of Homeland Security. We've put in place dedicated immigration judges so asylum seekers can have their cases heard faster. We've expanded labor pathways, including H-2B visas. And through the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection, President Biden brought 20 world leaders together to manage increased migration flows across the Western hemispheres. By contrast, core to the prior administration, immigration strategy was to build a wall, and they couldn't even accomplish that in the 4 years. And they also, by talking about building a wall, which would have taken billions of dollars from veterans, billions of dollars from schools, which is also a policy that just does not work. It is not that simple. It's not just that people are walking across the border. We have a plan in place. This is not like switching the lights on, right? This is going to take a process. We are fixing a broken system that was actually left by the last administration. And as
I'm done. I am done. You gotta be kidding me. She's now blaming Trump. She just laid out all these things that they did. We saw this massive issue, this immigration crisis, the U.S.-Mexico border. And not only do her policies and everything they implemented not work, but she's going to blame Trump for not finishing the wall in 4 years. And then she's going to blame it on him for the shitstorm that they created. Folks, this might be the top video that we've done right now between Peter Doocy and Karine Jean-Pierre in terms of her blatantly gaslighting everybody. I think this is the top one by far. I'm so bewildered right now that she is willing to get away with this and allowed to get away with it. Where's the press on this? I mean, everybody should be running this story of how she just outright said that people aren't walking across the border. There's no difference between the tennis player CDC guidelines and COVID-19 vaccinations versus illegal immigrants getting to stay here. She just blamed Trump for the things that are happening now under the Biden administration.
It relates to the tennis star, that is totally different. That is a different process. That is the U.S. Open that he is part of, and there are CDC federal guidance that he needs to follow.
But why is there a CDC requirement for people that fly here as opposed to people that cross the southern border?
Look, we have talked about Title 42, right?
This has nothing to do with Title 42.
It is. Title 42 is the CDC imperative.
And you guys got rid of it because you said the pandemic.
That is not how it works. It is not. Title 42 is very much in place, and that is the process. So there is a CDC provision for folks coming through the southern border. It is not just for tennis players. Migrants have also a CDC guidance that we have to follow, which is Title 42. So that is not the case. That is factually wrong. Okay.
What? So now she's going to lie about Title 42? I mean, literally in the span of a couple minutes, everything she pretty much said, other than maybe what they've done in terms of policy-wise and, giving more funding to Homeland Security and all these things, which has just done a phenomenal job right at the U.S.-Mexico border. Everything they've done is clearly working here. How many lies did she say in a span of a minute? I don't think there was a single thing other than those few things that she did say in terms of that list that was probably factual. And then at the end, she's going to say Peter Doocy isn't factual. When she literally said people are not walking across the border, that's not what's happening here. Then how the hell are they getting here? The vast majority of them. Folks, honest to God, is anybody with me on this? Was this not the craziest thing you've seen in a while? I mean, if Fox News doesn't run this, like it's breaking news, I don't know. But there you have it. Probably the craziest White House press secretary we've seen in decades here. Karine Jean-Pierre lying about illegal immigration, lying about the differences between illegal immigrants and people coming across the border with their vaccinations. It is so wild. It is so wild that they continue with this gaslighting, the charades at the U.S.-Mexico border. No wonder they only consider it a challenge and not a crisis, because clearly they don't know what the hell is going on at the U.S.-Mexico border, because she thinks people are somehow floating across the border rather than walking across. So I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.